Radical.
The Xbox Series X Galaxy Black Edition is over $700. $730, I believe. That's absolutely insane. That is now officially more expensive than a PlayStation 5 Pro, which itself, people called out for being so expensive when it came out. People noting that even though your graphical capabilities were better, they compared screenshots from the same game and people were shrugging their shoulders like, is it really worth the money? And that motherfucker don't even have a disk drive. But you can argue it's a better value than the Xbox Series X Galaxy Black Edition. You can make the argument because, well, all the Xbox Galaxy Black Edition is a special edition of the regular Series X. That's all it is. And like I stated in my last upload, I believe it was my last upload, talking about the price increases of the Xbox. All of them went up. Even accessories went up. Now, everybody's got their pitchforks out for Microsoft, but hold up. Hold up a second. Do you honestly believe in an environment where we have the tariffs, which is, I believe, 125% on China from Trump, do you believe that Sony is not going to push that extra cost, onto the consumers also? They already raised prices in certain territories. This was before, I believe, the tariffs even were a thing. Do you honestly believe that the prices are not going to go up on the PlayStation system? Now, I looked up, and I see that primarily, if not completely, unless I have some wrong information here, all Xbox systems are manufactured in China. Am I right or wrong on this? If I'm wrong, it's because I'm getting some bad information from Google. Because I Googled it, and I can see why the prices have went up. In fact, some people are stating that Microsoft is taking on some of that cost, and they could have raised the prices higher, which is insane to think, because already increasing your prices over $100 on systems, and that's insane already, but maybe they took on some of the cost of that and then increase them even more, because let's be honest here, Microsoft, I feel like eventually they're going to get out of the hardware game. They've already putting their systems on the PlayStation 5. They're already focusing on Xboxes everywhere. Xbox is everything. If you're playing on a screen right now, if you're on a screen, you have an Xbox. I'm recording this on that Xbox. Did you know? Did you know my Motorola is actually an Xbox? That's what Microsoft told me. So they can take on a little bit of the cost because they're structuring their business, I think, for the future to be maybe game streaming or... And it sucks for me to admit that because I've loved Xbox for a long time, but it just seems like they see the writing on the wall. They can't compete with Sony. They damn sure can't compete with Nintendo and the excitement around those two systems. And they damn sure, for whatever fucking reason, even though they own half the game companies, the creators, with that buyout of Activision Blizzard and all that, they can't seem to make a good damn game for some fucking reason. You know, they don't have a lot of exclusives that people are really clawing to get, other than maybe Forza, Halo maybe, but that's dropped off, Gears of War. But if those games are going to be on Sony systems, a lot of people are saying, well, shit, we're just going to go ahead and get a fucking Sony. Why not? Everyone else is getting Sony PlayStations. So they're already taking themselves, in a way, out of the hardware console game. Even if they haven't admitted it, it seems like they're taking their... Because if they weren't, why wouldn't they make exclusives? Why wouldn't they give you reasons to get an Xbox system? And Xbox just not be an everywhere thing, as it seems like it's going to be right now. But they're structuring themselves for the future, whether it's a good or bad choice. They're making their calculations as a company. And a lot of people, like I said, have the pitchforks out for Xbox. And they're putting their heavenly halos on Sony. Like Sony's not going to do the same exact fucking thing and increase their prices in the US. Because they've already increased their prices other places, right? So I think it's silly to think that they're not eventually going to raise their prices too. maybe they just kind of want Microsoft to come out there first and do it, and they waited, and then they can just, well, let's see. I don't have the exact statement, but basically Microsoft came out and said, due to market conditions, due to things around in the market, we had to increase our prices. And they used some kind of they didn't say prices. They said recommended from our retailers or partners or something like that. They didn't cite I don't think they cited the tariffs in their official response, and they didn't even take full ownership of them increasing their prices. They said it's because of ongoing market conditions. Hey, market conditions. We didn't make this choice to increase prices. I say just fucking be honest, own it. Just say most of our consoles are made in China because of the tariffs. We're increasing the prices. They didn't do that in their official statement. In fact, Microsoft even talked about, man, this could have been several uploads, but I'm trying to get all into one. They talked about how they're increasing the value, keeping the value there for customers. We're all about the value. Don't you dare fucking mention the word value when you're increasing prices. You can't, to me, that's the most disgusting thing about this, is you're trying to say you have the value there. Their increases, and I don't think I looked at the prices, we talked about the prices. That is not exactly a McDonald's value menu, right? It's like going to McDonald's, rolling up and saying hey, I would like the cheapest hamburger you have and the cheapest fry. I want the value menu. Then they add it up and it'll be that'll be $17.50, sir. That's a great value. You're getting a lot of nutrients, a lot of vitamins, and all kind of stuff from here. This is value. You can't increase prices and then say you're providing value. That's just a slap in the face to people. Just be honest. Be hey, listen, we wish we could do better, but hey, the tariffs, market conditions, we apologize, but we'll keep trying to provide quality experiences for people. Okay, don't even mention value. But yeah, a lot of people, they put the halos on Sony, and they are acting like a price increase is not coming for the Sony systems. Now, people might call me on the comment section and say Rick, there's no proof. You don't have any news. You don't have any iota of news. We've looked up. We've clicked news on our Googles. We've clicked the news here. There's no one from Sony officially saying that they're increasing the prices. Well, I'm going to use my common sense here, and I'm going to employ this and tell you that, we'll find out if these price increases are actually because of the tariffs or not. And it's hard to believe that they're not in the realm, when it comes to Microsoft. Because right here, it says that, again, if I have this wrong information, you blame Google, right? Don't blame me. Okay, I can't call Microsoft directly and talk to Bill Gates and ask him, hey, where's most of your systems made? I depend on Google like all of you, okay? Yeah, manufactured in China. Xboxes are manufactured in China. And then I have this one bit of news that says, and by the way, I got Enigma in the background if you are listening yelling or whatever. So it's Enigma, okay? It's really chill music. I'm multitask here. No, I don't want to know about the Switch here. Damn, there's an analyst that says PS5 prices could rise to $1,000. PS5 Pro. Damn. All right, so that's what GamerAnx is talking about. There's analysts here saying the price could go up. Okay. I'm just using my noggin here. I didn't even see anything from analysts. I'm just telling you that I just did a search on where's PS5 made. And it says primarily they're made in China, but some's made in Japan. And there's conflicting reports here. So, again, Google, man, it's all over the place. China, they said, has made over 90% of PS5 production. And then this one place says it's 50%. So I don't have the percentages, but if it's 90%, you best fucking believe Sony's already made the choice to increase their PlayStation 5 prices. I'll tell you why. This is why I think this. Because unlike Microsoft that's making the shift out of their consoles to being a service, Sony depends on console sales. That's key to their business. And yeah, they're seemingly probably making more money off their consoles, definitely. I would say, because they're a more popular brand, unless I'm wrong here. Feels like they're making more money. They're selling more consoles than Xbox. But at the same time, if 90% of PlayStations are made in China, and there's a 145% increase from the US on production in China, then obviously common sense tells you that unless they take a big loss, they're going to have to increase prices. Now, if they increase prices and they come out, the smart move would be for them to just point to the tariffs and say, listen, it's the tariffs. And some people might say, like, this bullshit, the tariffs have no, no. But you gotta understand, if things get more expensive for you to make things in China, you get it? Like, if imports are more expensive, I wish I was smarter on this whole economics and tariff stuff. I wish I was. But I've admitted before that I'm not an economist. I just deal in common sense. And if it costs Sony more to take those systems that are made in China and put them into the US, obviously the cost has got to come from somewhere. And usually it's the consumer that pays the cost. And damn it, I had a fucking skip. You hear that skip? I hate this shit. So now I've got to use the sander pad on this Enigma if it's even worth doing that. See, that's my calculation. Oh, in my store cost, if it's costing me to take this GFG Easy Pro and get more stuff for it to fix my disc, then I'm looking at it, is the cost worth it? Because I'm in the business at my store to make money, just like Sony's in the business to make money, Microsoft's to make money. And yeah, it sucks for consumers, but everyone's got their pitchforks out ready for these companies. You have to look at how much the tariffs are increasing their production cost. And maybe you have the pitchforks out for the wrong people, is what I'm saying. Now, if it's a situation to where you got some manufacturers that are not making their stuff in China and they increase the prices, then that's fucking bullshit, because their prices didn't go up a bit. Now, what is complete total bullshit is the price of games going up, because the digital games, the games are not made in China, manufacturers made in China. But maybe that's part of shifting the cost. If the games go up, then they might say, well, they can make an argument, it's costing us more to make the systems now to import them into the US, so guess what, US people? Guess what? Your games are going to be more expensive because we have to get the money from somewhere. You see, even though it's not direct, they're going to make that argument if people really kind of press them on it. Now, some people say this is temporary. The situation with the tariffs, it's temporary. Eventually, Trump and China, they'll hug it out. They'll figure out a solution. But when will that happen? When will one side budge on that? Because they're in a trade war. That's what happens in trade war. The casualties are not the heads of the countries. It's the actual people that pay the cost in a trade war. It's not the countries themselves, okay? It's the people buying the goods from the countries that suffer in a trade war. So if this all gets resolved, let's say by the summer, then will the prices go down? That's the interesting thing to keep an eye on, and look at. Because if the prices don't go down, then that's bullshit. But usually when prices go up on things, it's hard to get people to bring the prices down. Or if they do, they'll advertise it everywhere before the holidays. Hey, there's a price drop on the Xbox system. Hey, there's a price drop on the PS5 Pro. Oh, really? Damn, it's only $700. It was $1,000. That's amazing. We gotta pick one up. You see, all this shit has increased prices on things that actually were already too expensive, arguably. So things were already too expensive, and because of the tariffs, it increases prices on things. Also, one last thing is, there were electronics that were covered under the exemptions from Trump. But these were things like laptops, graphic cards, I guess not desktops, no gaming desktops. So some people saying, fuck it, these consoles are too expensive, I'm just going to go get some pre-built PCs. Well, hold on there, Sparky. What makes you think that the pre-built PCs or, the gaming PCs like, let's say, HP Omen, what makes you think they're not going up in price also? Because they were not exempted under this. This all multiplies. This is not just these tariffs fucking things up, because it's not just a few things that are tariffed. So much of our stuff comes from China. So it's just incredibly sad to see everything going up in price. And the effect is also not just on electronic devices. It's a effect where many of these people that don't even have stuff made in China, they're making the argument, well, our prices are going up not because of we make things in China, but because of the market conditions. You see, it's a fucking domino effect. Anyone raising their prices in anywhere, they're going to state to the ongoing market conditions. And whether or not they're being honest, it's up for you to decide. But I do believe, personally, that the PlayStation 5 prices, the PS5 Pro prices, are going to go up. And if you feel like that's not the case, that's fine. If you think I'm wrong on this, yeah, that's fine. I hope I'm not wrong, because I thought about getting me a PS5. I got a store selling game stuff. If I got a PS5, I can start selling PS5 games. I would make money. Believe me, it's a thought of mine. And there's a couple games on PlayStation 5 that I would like to play, but I damn sure I'm not going to pay over $500 for a PlayStation 5 right now, when the PlayStation 6 is around the corner in a couple years. You think I'm going to be fucking insane and spend $1,000 on a PlayStation 5? Or however much it's going to be if I get a Pro? Fuck no, I'm not. It's just stupid. That's crazy to think about spending up to close to $1,000 on a game system after it's been out since 2020. Are you insane? You're insane to think that. But a lot of you that want to play and keep up with new games, guess what? You're going to have to. You're going to have to get a system if you want to play the newest game. Third party, first party. So I would give you the advice. Radical Rick's officially giving you a device. And this is from a person that doesn't have any insider information. I don't. I'm just using my noggin here. I'm giving you the advice, if you want a PlayStation 5, whether it's a Pro or a regular, you better get that shit right now. Because like I said, if they're all made in China for the most part, and these tariffs hold for a long time, then obviously Sony's going to increase the price. And many people are going to be blindsided by this. But if you listen to me right now, you won't be blindsided. So go get one right now if you intend to get one. Don't complain to me, and don't come back here in a couple weeks if they've jacked up the price even more than Microsoft did. Don't complain to me if you've listened to me right now. Go get one right now if you intend to.